Hello everyone. In this video, I'll be describing how I have prepared the CBME UG logbook in otorhinolaryngology. Now, as we know that the logbook submission is now one of the eligibility criteria to appear in the university examinations. And the admission batch 2019, it has already started its phase 2 training. So ENT is now being taught in phase 2 as well as phase 3 part 1. So it is imperative that a logbook is prepared and given to the students so that they can start entering the details in the logbook right from the phase 2 in ENT. And I thought of sharing my experience of preparing this UG logbook. And please, after seeing this video, you can also suggest your inputs in the comment box of this video. So starting now, this is the first page or the personal details page. So here we can keep the name of the college or the university, or if there is any logo of the college or university, that can be put here. And here the photograph of the patient. Then there can be some personal details like name of the student, if there is any university ID or registration number, date of admission to MBBS course, date of beginning of phase 3 part 1, address, email, so contact details, and the students and the guardians or the parents signature. So this first page we can keep for personal details. Then next is the certificate. Now this is important. In certificate we have to mention the name of the student, the name of the parents, and then I have put these three points in the certificate because these three are now the eligibility criteria to appear in the university examination. So first is the attendance. Now we know that 75% attendance in theory and 80% attendance in clinicals. It is mandatory to appear in the university examination. So whatever attendance the student has got during the whole ENT training, including phase 2 and phase 3, it will come here and here. And accordingly, we will write whether the student is permitted to appear in the university exam or not. Second eligibility criteria is the internal assessment marks. Now these internal assessment marks in theory out of 100, in practicals out of 100. We know that individually they should get more than 40% in theory and practicals, and combined it should be more than 50%. So again, we will mention whatever marks they have got during their ENT training and whether they are permitted for university examination or not. And finally, the logbook submission, whether they have submitted a completed logbook or not. It is a eligibility criteria, so that is required, and whether they are permitted or not. So in the certificate itself, I have mentioned these three things, which will make it clear that as per these three criteria, he is eligible to appear in the university examination or not. And this certificate needs to be certified by the head of the department and also by the dean of the respected college. Then this is the index part. Now I have divided the logbook under these headings. So first there will be general instructions to the student, then explanation of the competency table. Now to prepare this logbook, I have taken the help of the GMER 2019, then UG curriculum volume 3, in which ENT curriculum is there, and the latest logbook guidelines module, which was released by the National Medical NMC. So taking the help of these three documents, I have tried to prepare this logbook. And this is a longitudinal logbook, that is subject wise logbook. Now some institutes I have heard that they are practicing phase wise logbook, but since ENT is being taught in multiple phases, that is in phase 2 and phase 3 part 1, so I thought of making it as a subject wise logbook, where the student will have to maintain this logbook or keep this logbook safe for 2 years. Okay, so the next session in my logbook, it will be explanation of the competency table. Now this competency table has been given in the logbook module, which is released by NMC and MCI. So how to read that competency table, the student should also know. So I've kept one page on that. Then there are few tables in which I have described the competencies in the teaching hours and the internal assessment division of marks. So the student should know them. So I'll tell these in detail. Then the actual competency tables, in which will we record the activity of each student. Then I have kept some pages for case histories. So I have kept 5 histories. A student should complete 5 histories. Then some pages for ENT instruments. Then some pages for reflective writing. Then the phase-wise attendance record of the student. Some pages for notes if they want to make any note during their clinical postings or theory. So some pages are kept. And finally, their leave record. So I have divided the logbook under these sections. So we'll see each section one by one. So first is the general instructions. Now these I have mostly taken from the logbook module. Here the instructions are given to the student how to maintain this logbook, what are the things they have to enter in this logbook, and it is needs to be certified and submitted for eligibility criteria. So all these things I have mentioned. Now these general instructions, they are present in the logbook module. So we know that it is a verified record of the academic and the co-curricular activities of the designated students. And this will record various activities like their participation in activities, attendance, and the record of different sessions, record of activities. And it is the responsibility of the student to maintain, update the logbook and get it certified by the respective faculty. Then the entries in the logbook will reflect the activities undertaken in the department and have to be scrutinized by the head of the ENT department. It is verified by HOD, and the logbook will carry 20% of the marks in the internal assessment. So in ENT, we say that there are 100 marks in internal assessment in theory and 100 in practicals. Out of these 100, 20 in theory and 20 in practicals will be given for completed logbook submission. And it is an important document, should be carefully maintained. So as I told you that the student will have to maintain it for 2 years in phase 2 and in phase 3. So this was about the general instructions. Now the explanation of the competency table. So when I think I'll skip this particular part presently. Before that, I'll describe the 4 tables that I have put. And when I'll show you the competency table. At that time, I'll describe the competency table. So I'll just skip this description of this competency table for a while. And these are the tables that I have put. So we know that in ENT, in the new CBME curriculum, there are total 202 teaching hours. Now this figure is not written anywhere, but I have derived it from the different teaching hours given for clinics and theory lectures. So in phase 2, there will be a 1 month clinical posting. Now at our institute, we have devised 2 postings of 2 weeks each. Now this depends on the institute to institute, whether they want to do the ENT posting as a 1 month single posting, or they can further divide it into 2 postings of 2 weeks each. But 4 weeks should be completed in phase 2. Now in phase 2, the clinical postings will only be from Monday to Friday. It is written in the CBME curriculum. So there will be only 60 hours of clinical postings in phase 2. So these are the 60 hours. Then there will be no theory or lectures. Except clinical postings, there are no other any ENT teaching in phase 2. Now in phase 3, again there is a 4 weeks clinical posting. So we have divided it into 2 weeks, 2 postings of 2 weeks each. But in phase 3, the postings will be from Monday to Saturday. So the teaching hours have increased. It has become 72. Then the lectures, they are given 25 hours. Small group discussions, they have been given 40 hours. So we can see that SGDs, it has been given more emphasis as compared to the didactic lectures. And self-directed learning, they have given 5 hours for that. So if we add all these hours, it comes up to 202 hours. So that is how I got this figure of 202. So I think the student should also know that how many hours are there in ENT, and phase wise and the lecture wise also they should know how they will be taught ENT. So that is why I have kept this table. Now this another table is, it is the distribution of competencies according to the teaching learning methods. Now in ENT there are total 76 competencies, or we can say 76 outcomes, which need to be taught in those 202 hours. So some competencies which are more of knowledge domain, I have kept them as to be taught in lectures, then some in small group discussion, some in integrated, some in SDL, then some in with dope session, that is demonstrate, observe, assist, perform. Then some competencies need to be taught as bedside teaching and some in demonstration. Now the details of how did I divide the competencies or the teaching hours as per the competencies. So I had a paper published on that few months back. So I'll be putting the link in the description of this video. So if you are interested, you can read that paper. So the student should also know that this particular topic or this particular competency, he will be taught as a lecture. So that is why I have kept this table. Then moving further, the third table. So this is the record of the internal assessment examinations. Now in CBME, we know that at the end of each clinical posting, there should be one end of posting examination. So as I told you that we have kept 2 postings of 2 weeks each. So there'll be 2 end of posting examination. Now in phase 2, there'll be no theory lecture. So there'll be no theory examination, but in clinical examination, I have kept it that it will be of 50 marks and whatever student gets, we'll write here. So one end of posting marks of 50 marks and other of 50 marks. Then similarly in phase 3 part 1, there will be 2 clinical postings of 2 weeks each. That is total 4 weeks. It can be taken as a 1 month single posting, but we have kept 2 plus 2. So again, it will carry, and the clinical assessment will be of 50 marks in both the clinical postings. Then the first internal assessment, here we will take theory. I have kept it as 100 marks and practical also 100 marks. Then preliminary examination, again, I have kept theory 100 marks and clinicals or practicals as 100 marks. Now, these are the actual internal assessment marks which the child will get during the phase 2 and or the student will get during the phase 2 and phase 3 part 1. But we know that total internal assessment are from 100. So these 200, they will be have to be converted into 100, and all these marks, they have to be converted into 100. So how will we convert these total marks into 100? That I have written in the next table. So phase 2 logbook, no question of any theory logbook, but logbook needs to be maintained for clinical posting. So 10 marks for that. These are now actual internal assessment marks which will be submitted to the university. Then first end of posting examination, in the initial table we saw that will be of 50 marks, so that 50 will be converted into 5. Similarly, the second end of posting examination, 50 will be converted into 5. Then phase 3 part 1. So there'll be theory lectures also. So logbook will be there for theory also, and 20% marks are for that logbook. So 20 marks of theory logbook will be given here. And in practical also we need to give 20. So we have already given 10 in phase 2. So the remaining 10 we will give in phase 3. Then the end of posting examinations 2 will be held in phase 3 part 1. They will be of 50 marks each, which will be converted into from 5 marks each. Then first internal examination, the paper will be of 100 marks theory, but it will be converted into 40, and practicals will be again of 100 marks, but will be converted into 30. Similarly, prelims, the 100 marks each in theory and clinicals will be converted into 40 and 30 respectively. So if we add these all marks, the total marks will be 100. So these are the internal assessment marks that will be given, submitted to the university, and getting 50% combined in theory and practical and 40% individually in theory and practical is the eligibility criteria to appear in the university. And another change is that these marks will not be added to the university marks, and it will not contribute to the ranking of the student, but it will only be shown as a separate head in the mark sheet. So this same note I have made here, the student should know what is the eligibility criteria with regards to the internal assessment marks. So this was about the yes. Now, so we have seen the 4 tables. Now the actual competency table is there, where the student, where we will record how the student passed that particular competency. Now at this point of time, I'll again explain the competency table in detail. So after these 4 tables, I have kept the competency table. Now in one page, I can put these 30 columns. So I have kept 5 pages for competency table. because there are 76 competencies, and some competencies may require repetition to be completed, or even remedial measures. So keeping that in mind, I have kept around 150, that is double the number of competencies, rows for competency table. So 5 pages I have kept for competency table. Now, to understand this competency table, it is very clearly stated in the logbook module. So I'll explain here. So first column is the competency number, that is given in the UG curriculum volume 3 in the ENT section. EN 2.1, EN 1.1. So the code of ENT subject is EN, and 2.1. The 2 is the name of the topic, and 1 is the competency in that topic. So that needs to be written here, and name of the activity. Name of the activity, whether that competency was taught as a lecture, was it a seminar, was it a group discussion. So whatever we can just mention here in a short form. Then this competency was taught in which phase. As I told you, clinical postings will be in phase 2 also. So whether it was in phase 2 or phase 3 part 1, that can be mentioned here. The date of completion, if it was a lecture, when that lecture was taken. If it was a seminar, when did the student present that seminar. So that we can write here. And attempt. So here it is the date of completion, not the date of lecture. The date of completion, that is what is required from the student. When did he complete satisfactory to certify this competency. So attempt, whether it was a first attempt. For F, whether it was a repeat attempt, or whether it was a remedial activity. Now, remedial activity needs to be determined by the faculty, and it is generally done for those competencies where the student has not satisfactorily completed the competency in spite of a repeat attempt. So after the first attempt, after the repeat attempt, still if the student has not completed that competency, then some remedial measures should be taken in the form of again teaching the particular topic to the student, and again taking the exam. So that is remedial measure. So that needs to be mentioned here. And then rating. How did he perform this activity? So was the activity below expectation? So B. Or did he meet the expectation? So M. Or did he exceed the expectation? So that is a rating of the activity of the student, BME. Then decision of the faculty. If we write C, it means the activity is completed. So therefore it is closed and certified. Or if we write R, it means it needs to be repeated without any further intervention. It means we do not need to teach that student that particular topic again, but only the assessment part needs to be repeated. And the third is RE. RE means the activity needs remedial action. Now it is, as I told you, it is usually done after repetition did not lead to the satisfactory completion. So again, some intervention from the faculty is required, and again it needs to be assessed. So whatever is the decision of the faculty, it needs to be written here. Then the faculty which completed that competency, the initials of the signature with date, and if the student has received the feedback, the student's signature and date needs to be mentioned here. So we know that there are 76 competencies in ENT. If possible, we should try to maintain this table for all 76 competencies. If not, then at least for those competencies which are of the skill domain, and the level is shows how. That is, the student needs to perform those activities or competencies. So at least a record of those activities should be properly maintained. But if possible, for all the competencies, the record should be maintained. So this is a single row. So such rows I have kept 150, keeping in mind that there are 76 competencies, and some competencies may require repetitions or remedial measures. So 5 pages for that. So again, this is an individual decision, but here I have kept 5 pages. So this is over. Now I have explained the competency table, and the competency table actually how I have put it, I have shown here. Now some pages I have reserved for case histories. So what I feel is that during the ENT training, a student should at least write independent 5 histories in the logbook. So in that sense, we can say that this is a logbook come journal. Okay. So I have mentioned I have kept some pages for case histories also. And for here I have kept 5 pages. Now this is the standard format. It can have minor variations. So here I have written journal history, then chief complaints, then origin, duration, progress, or sometimes called history of presenting illness, then negative history, then past history, family history, personal history, any medical or surgical history, general examination, then local, that is ENT examination, ear, nose, throat and neck examination, and finally the clinical diagnosis. So when a student completes this, he has completed one history. So I have kept 5 histories, that every student should at least have an entry of individual 5 entries in the logbook. So I have reserved some pages for these 5 histories, case histories. In that sense, this is a logbook come journal. Then another important uh, point that we ask from the students in the viva or clinical examination in ENT are the instruments. So I think that instruments again are important. So some pages I have reserved for instruments, in which they will write just the name of the instrument and the specific use of this instrument. So 3 or 4 pages I think I have kept for instruments also, that can be reduced or increased. I have kept here 5 pages for instruments. Then next heading, it is the reflective writing. Now it will not be possible for 150 students to write reflection of all activities that they have learned, but for some specific competencies we can ask the student to write their reflections, because reflection is a very good method of teaching, as well as it is a very good method of understanding. And the student develops the inculcates the habit of self-directed learning and experiential learning by writing reflections. So I have kept 5 topics or 5 pages for reflective writing. And what exact competencies need to be written here, that is again an individual choice, but here I have kept 5 pages. So in that, they will write the topic on which they are writing the reflection, the particular date, and the phase in which they have completed that topic or writing their reflection. So here 4 or 5 pages I have kept. Then attendance record. Now in the certificate also we saw the attendance record, but that was a combined attendance of all the 2 phases, phase 2 and phase 3 part 1. Here I have kept a page in which the attendance of individual phase is kept. So phase 2, first clinical posting, what is the percent of attendance he was present, and phase 2, because uh, if the percentage is less, then student will know that okay, I have less percentage here, but I need to get cumulative of 75 here, so I should attend more. So this will be like a check to the student to improve his own attendance. So that is one page I have kept here, in which phase wise attendance of clinical postings, and in phase 3 there will be theory lectures also. So all these attendance है. And if there are any remarks, for example, if there are any remedial measures, or if the student was absent for a particular reason, so that can be kept here. So some pages for that. Then again some pages I have kept for notes. Notes in the sense 4 or 5 pages I have kept for notes, and this attendance record needs to be verified again by the unit head, by the head of the department. Then notes, in notes, the students, they are coming to the clinics, they might be interested in some point, or even in lecture they want to note some point, so they can note it. So some pages for notes also. And finally, the last page I have kept for leave record. Leave record, because the student may take some leave. So what is the reason of that leave, what are the dates on which the leave was taken, and whether the faculty was informed or not, and the leave was granted or not. So it comes to around 43 pages. So this is what I have prepared. But again, uh, if you all see this video, then I will request you to please give your inputs, because with your inputs it will always be important, and we can improve this. And I will request that you please also share how did you make the logbook at your institute. So thank you very much for listening.